very full. The last
Good afternoon, West Fargo families. We are just about ready to get started. Give us 1 or 2 more minutes and we'll be ready to go. Good afternoon, West Fargo families and students. We are so excited to be here today. We can't see all our students and families in person, but we are delighted that you are joining us. I am Beth Slette. I'm the superintendent here with West Fargo Public Schools, and we are very excited to share with you our online learning plan. So let's go back to March 19th. Governor Doug Burgad asked us, all the superintendents in the state, to create a distance learning plan. The catch was we had 1 week to create that plan. So our team jumped into action and began planning immediately and making determinations about what our students and staff would need to be successful in an online learning environment. So we completed the plan and we sent it to the governor just on Monday, We're hoping that we will find out by Thursday or Friday if our plan is approved. And should it be approved, we're ready to begin online learning or distance learning on April 1st. So let's learn more about this opportunity, and to help me tell the story, I'm going to invite our district leaders in, and they're going to introduce themselves. From there, I'm going to share questions, and each of our leaders are going to respond with answers. These questions came from parents that we're already receiving, and so I'm really hopeful that I'll answer your questions and really put your minds at ease as to what's to come. So I'm going to step away with social distancing. We have to keep ourselves separate from each other, so I'm moving away and I'm going to invite them forward. Note the 6-foot distance. Do you want to begin by introducing yourself and what your role is?
Sure. I am Burgad, the Assistant Secondary Superintendent at West Fargo Public Schools.
I'm Rachael Kjonaas, the Director of Special Education at West Fargo Public Schools.
Hello, I'm Rachael Agre. I'm the Assistant Elementary Superintendent for West Fargo Public Schools.
So I know the three of you, as well as others on the team, have been really busy planning. So the first question I'm going to ask each of you to respond to is, what is the format and the platform for distance learning at the elementary, middle, and high, as well as for special education students or those with special needs?
Sure, I can go ahead and start. So last week, if you had an elementary student that attends West Fargo Schools, you received an email, and so we started by asking what type of technology access you currently had. We were looking at devices across any platform. It didn't have to be an iPad or an Apple product, and also looking at internet access. And we deployed last week at the sites. We did a deployment of materials for kiddos, and we looked at the technology needs as well as working with our curriculum coordinators to decide if there were any notebooks, journals, pencils, art supplies, anything else. And we did a bag for every student, whether they needed a device or not, and deployed those to families. Starting April 1st, which we'll talk more about later, we will be using a Seesaw platform. And again, if you're a parent right now in West Fargo, that is the communication tool that we've been using for the last almost 2 years now, and that will be our consistent platform, along with Microsoft Teams, which will be where we'll be able to interact and have some FaceTime, face-to-face interaction with families as well as students.
In special education, our team has been working really hard to develop contingency learning plans to meet the student IEP goals. And so if you haven't heard from your child's case manager, if you have a child that has special needs, you should be hearing from them soon. They are developing contingency learning plans to approach every child's IEP goals and developing a plan to align those IEP goals within a home setting. How can we do this reasonably given the constraints of what families are dealing with as well, given the pandemic?
At the high school, we have the privilege of our students being one-to-one in grades 6 through 12, and for the last 3 or 4 years, they've been using a learning management system called Schoology that enables teachers to communicate both with students and parents if needed, and provide assignments and assessment materials within that. And through our video conferencing, we'll also be using Teams and Microsoft, along with any other video conferencing that fits the bill.
So going off that question, when lessons are assigned to students, parents and students want to know if there'll be video presentations to help them with the lessons, or will there only be assignments given with deadlines?
I think it'll be a combination of both. I think at times when you're serving a distance learning online platform, there's some assignments that need some video explanation, and there's others where a Word document or an email will explain the task or the assignment. So I think it'll be a combination of both, and I think our teachers will make that determination decision which would be appropriate to provide that instruction.
Additionally, I would say that across all K-12 and every certified staff member, we're asking them to post and share publicly starting April 1st office hours in a virtual environment where we know that teachers will also be juggling things at home but a time when they know they can make themselves available to students or to parents for additional questions, to clarify. And so maybe that video met the needs of 22 of your 25 students, but you have 3 with questions. So we want to make sure that we're also giving that face time with our families to be able to get the extra clarification that they need.
As far as special education services go, through the contingency learning plans, case managers and service providers were encouraged to develop a plan that would work for the individual needs of the student with the parents and guardians. So that could look like a video, it could look like a paper pencil task, and it could very well look like an online platform for part of that work. Right now we're looking to start gradually. April 1 is our start date, we are ready, and that gradual start will just be important. Our case managers and service providers will be reaching out to you weekly, whether that be via phone or email or a Teams meeting, and that's important because we need to monitor our plans to make sure that they are working for the student and for you. With that phone call, we hope to be able to adjust our plans weekly, and so that they are meeting the students' needs and not driving anybody crazy at home.
So if you have videos, will they just be posted for a short time, like a specific time a student has to watch that video, or will the times be flexible?
So at the elementary level, again, using the Seesaw as the tool, they will be captured and students can go back to those. What we really want to be careful with as we're planning this rollout at the elementary level is that we're not inundating families, as Rachel said, but really dosing it out and making it manageable for the teacher as well as for the students. So we know that maybe Tuesday mornings at your house might be really busy because of the other children you have, or you're working from home. So once that is assigned to your child, you will have access to that for yourself to go back to and for just-in-time learning.
Our learning management system has the ability to post videos for an extended period of time. Some teachers may elect to make it part of the assignment with due dates, and so depending on the length of that video being posted would be determined by the teacher.
So let's talk about workload and what should students expect as far as how much work will they have, how much time should they be spending on work each day or each week?
So we're doing a gradual rollout at the elementary level because we know that the new learning right now is going to be the virtual learning, and sometimes that technology can be overwhelming for the student, for the teacher, for the family. So we have phased out that we're starting with literacy the week of April 1st, and really just interacting with kiddos to share about books we're reading, things we might write about that were inspired, and getting them used to that learning management system through virtual communication. And we've laid that out week by week, adding different content in till full implementation or full continuation is the terminology we're using, which would start the week of April 27th. What we're going to do with our curriculum and our teachers is thinking that at most it would be 3 lessons per week that would be assigned out to students in any given content area. In art, music, physical education, there would be less, but there would also be many opportunities for students that they could look for more. We really want to emphasize that even though they're using technology to obtain those lessons, that the teacher is going to give them the lesson, give them the prompt, and then really turn off that laptop, turn off that iPad, and go do, and have that opportunity to interact and do some things either kinesthetically outside or to use some of the art materials that we've provided.
Within special education, we will work on a gradual implementation on all IEP goals. So we'll start with every IEP goal that your child has, and we will start with small activities to get them embedded into elementary's platform of Seesaw and secondary's platform of Schoology. Really thinking about small bits and pieces that are manageable by the student, given their learning, given their capacity to stay engaged in the task, and given the access to their parents during this time as well. As we make phone calls or collaborate with the parents and guardians, we may increase that time or we may stay the same. It's a very flexible approach, and we're looking to collaborate with parents and guardians all along the way.
At the secondaries, we had the message with our educators to start slow, to start small, and to keep it simple. And we'll use the first 2 days, March 30th and 31st, for the teachers to connect with the students, to make them familiar with the distance learning tools, how to connect with a video conference potentially, where are your materials, where's the content, and then also to share those virtual office hours, when the teachers will be available through the day, and how they can communicate with the families. So we'll use those first 2 days of just going through the communication and the standard operating procedures and protocols for the class. And then we'll start slow on April 1st, delivering some content and work our way through to have full implementation the following week.
So I'm going to pause for a moment while we move our microphone and camera closer to improve the sound. So next we're going to talk more about student expectations and specifically about attendance. How are you going to keep track of student attendance and participation?
Sure, I'll take this at the secondary levels. We're going to have clear communication for each building. We're going to have opportunities for students to check in. We won't take attendance by every period or every day. So both middle schools are going to communicate to families and students that these would be the expectations over the course of the week of what would count towards your attendance. And some will be by a check-in, others will be by completion of an assignment or evidence of learning. And that's the same example or protocol that we'll be using at the high school also. Both high schools have a little bit different tweak of how they're going to have attendance, but they're going to have clear communication to the students and parents of what it will look like. So it's going to be on a weekly basis, not on a daily basis or a period basis, which would, through research, when we looked at different ways of distance learning, that was something that was indicated, that don't try to expect to take attendance on a daily or hourly basis. It puts too much hardship on students, it puts too much hardship on the teachers and on the families.
And we really have supported what the Department of Public Instruction, along with the governor, put together for us with the definition of attendance being completion plus engagement equals attendance. And to piggyback on what Dr. Burgad said, we really don't want this to be something that's the same for every family, and we're really looking at it week by week. And so at the elementary level, we're looking for 3 points of engagement for each child with their classroom teacher as a minimum. Along with that, and Rachel can probably speak more to this, but with special education, we would also require 1 with their case manager in addition to the 3 with the classroom teacher, and with our English learners, an additional 1 more on top of the 3. And we've really put into place with our wellness coordinator and our counselors and our social workers that if we're not getting that engagement, that we need to find out why. We need to reach out to the families through our counselors and social workers to support the families in getting that engagement and helping families connect.
Time in which the students participate in our distance learning model is flexible. And so when we look at attendance, special ed students with special needs will follow the general education practices that were both stated. What's really important in special education is the monitoring of student progress. And so that will be through phone calls or contacts with parents and guardians to seek your input and feedback on the student's progress. We will be looking for student work samples, whether it just be taking a picture of a student work sample and sending it to your case manager, or just collecting that at a different time. We will also be monitoring some time within the online learning platforms. We, like these elementary and secondary, don't feel like time on an online platform is the only way to learn, nor do we want students to be stuck to a device. And so we'll be monitoring that time to see how successful are we in engaging the student in that online platform, and is it really giving us the bang for our buck? Are we making progress with our students who have special needs?
And I would just piggyback on that too to say that we've been flexible with both our educators as well as with our families in our plan. And what we really want to do is make those interactions that are equaling attendance look different for every student. So it might be at your house that you are going to utilize those office hours posted by the teacher, and you're gonna call one evening, or you're gonna do a Teams meeting with them, and that would really count towards your child's attendance, that we know that you are working with your child at home and you're carrying out the plan that the teacher has laid out. For another student, that might look completely different, and the student is really comfortable with Seesaw, and they're engaging or taking pictures of an assignment and posting that to Seesaw. So it will look very different, but it will be 3 as the number of interactions. The interactions can vary family to family and student to student.
So how will you assess my students' work? Or will they get grades?
At the secondary, in grades 9 through 12, we'll continue to use letter grades, percentages, and GPAs. So much of the assessment will look the same. Some of the projects may look different. You know, it's going to be more difficult to have some of the traditional learning models, so it might be an opportunity to extend and explore and go deeper and go richer. So that will be the same, though. The grading model at grades 9 through 12 will be the 9 through 12 will be the same. And also at the middle levels in grades 6 through 8, we'll continue to use our proficiency scales in addition to using standards-based grading to define what proficiency looks like. So the grading will be the exact same at both the middle level and at the high school.
The elementaries have already functioned in a standards-based environment with proficiency scales, and I really think this is going to give us an opportunity for more voice and choice for our students, because again, if we're doing a final project and they've done that at home, their resources, their access might look different, and that might impact their final assessment that they are taking a picture of and submitting. And teachers will be excited about that, and I think when we get to see all of our kids back in school, whenever that time comes, we are going to have a better idea of all of the things that our students can produce because of what they've been able to have the opportunity to be in a different learning environment.
In special ed, we'll continue to follow the general ed practices in regards to grading. We will also continue to monitor the students' progress. Parents will receive progress reports for this remaining time as they typically would receive given distance learn or a traditional school setting. So you'll see a copy of a progress report sent home closer to the end of the year, in which we summarize the progress over the course of, between quarter 3 and through quarter 4.
So how will teachers and parents stay connected through this process? And will there be a way for parents to be monitoring their students' work along the way? Or if I have a junior in high school, is there an assurance that I can see what my student is doing?
Yes, if you talk in high school or even middle level, students can provide their parents complete access to the learning management system with their login and password. That they then would be able to see all the assignments, all the announcements, all the grades. In addition to in grades 9 through 12 and at the middle level, we'll continue to do our report cards through Power School. So parents should have that ability to check in and know exactly what the students will be needing for the week, what assignments are due, and where they stand as far as progress monitoring.
At the elementary level, I don't think it's as much of a concern, but absolutely through Seesaw, you will want to log in alongside your child. I know that through the social workers, the counselors, the school principal, the classroom teachers, with the posted hours that they are submitting, you will be able to touch base with them. We will do some Microsoft Teams where you will be able to video conference with the teacher or with anyone else at the school site that you're needing to get in front of to ensure that your child is doing what they need to do and that you have the support you need to be able to carry out the distance learning at home. We want to be flexible and make that work for every family, and we want parents and need parents to be involved to make this work for your children.
In special education, we will continue to monitor and provide lesson plans or weekly expectations for parents and guardians as you are working through and supporting the learning that was agreed upon or compiled within that contingency learning plan. So in that regard, it will be communicated maybe in a variety of platforms, whether it be paper or email. Case managers and service providers are working hard actually today, tomorrow and Friday on moving from developing those contingency learning plans to the actual lesson plans. or weekly expectations for each one of their students.
So what do you feel, you've touched on this too, but what do you need from parents as educators? What do our teachers need from parents?
A lot of trust. I think that this is going to make us better in the end, that we're all doing right by the children we serve, knowing that we've been talking a lot in West Fargo schools about how we can increase and really change what the meaning of family engagement is. I don't know that this is how quickly we thought we would make that change, but we want to engage with you. We want two-way communication. We really want you to be a partner with us. This is uncharted territory for everyone, but we know that we have a plan that will work, and we know that it won't be easy, that there's going to be some hurdles, but we want you to reach out if you're struggling with something, if you need help. We know everyone's in a different spot, including our teachers with their comfortability with technology, and distance education. So we just are really looking for you to partner with us and let us know if things that we have set out are working, and also if they're not.
Well, first, I think we need our parents to take care of themselves and also to take care of your families and children. That would be the first thing I think I'd provide advice, is to make sure that through this time of uncertainty that our families really protect themselves, get closer, stay connected, and take care of themselves. The education piece is a month or 2 months, and we will have new experiences, and some will be great and some will be challenges. But if our parents really take care of themselves and their children, I think things will go great. Stay in contact and connectivity with your teacher or teachers. And then if you have any further questions, your building level principals, administration, and counselors, they'll be there for you.
To add to both of those statements, just to stay in contact with us, to keep us in a loop as far as what is working, what isn't working. We want our students with special needs to have access to their learning as we move into this distance learning model. It's important for everybody to have access and continue to work on the things that are important while taking care of yourself and your families.
So I am going to shift into other services that are provided by the school, such as counseling, therapy, food, medical support. How will we be helping our students in those areas?
I can start by saying that just in the last week and a half since we have been shut down to students in our building, we have been providing meals, which consists of both breakfast and lunch. And we've been trying to communicate that in an effective manner. We have some that are coming on a bus to parking lots. We have some that are coming directly to 6 school sites. Every day we're taking count of the number that we've prepared versus the number that we've served. We've partnered with the Great Plains Food Bank, and on Fridays we are delivering the backpack program, which is for feeding families where the adults also have a meal to get them through the weekend if that is needed. We sent some art supplies that should have been in the bags today, just for some additional materials and resources for you to be able to do at home. We hope to continue to be able to provide that service, and we're looking for feedback from you. If you're struggling to get that disbursement to you, we have all hands on deck to make that work, and we hope throughout this time we would be able to continue that level of service.
In regards to therapies, physical therapy and occupational therapy would fall under the same plan that we had discussed before through the contingency learning plan. This provides us an opportunity to be innovative in this area and start really thinking about teletherapy. And so the state has provided us opportunities to be innovative and look to creative ways on providing that therapy remotely. So we'll be looking for our physical therapists and our occupational therapists to be embedded within those contingency learning plans to provide access for our students.
We have to give a shout out to our counselors, K-12 counselors and our therapists. They've been remarkable in the work that Coordinator Don Miller has put together. We'll be posting on our websites the counseling hours. You'll see those on the school websites. That'll be coming in the near future. And the ability to reach out to the students, to reach out to their counselors, their families to reach out to the counselors. In addition, at the secondary level, grades 6 through 12, At all our schools, they've also been working with the bound therapy with therapists. So we'll continue that. It will be off-site through the
Teletherapy.
teletherapy. That's exactly right. We learned a lot of new terms in this
Yes,
whole
we
process.
have. We've learned a lot.
I must say. So those connections with those therapists will continue.
I would add on to that we also have our social workers who have been really vital in getting the backpack program running. They've been really trying to reach out to families to ensure that they know about the technology surveys, that they're aware of the food that's being delivered, and they will continue to be a point of contact for all of our families. And our counselors too at the elementary level will not be available all of the time, as they have some delivery models through our social emotional curriculum, which we know is so important at this time. So they will be delivering the second step curriculum K through 5 through CSA alongside as a co-teacher with their classroom teachers. So you will see that support coming through, but they will also be available for you as families and for your student to reach out to during this time. And at the elementary level, we primarily work with solutions right now that we've been able to maintain contact with through this time. And they have been a great partner for us to continue some of the services at their sites. And I would say that our social workers have been picking up lunches for those students and bringing them to solutions. So our staff is willing to do anything to help your kids and your families get through this time.
To add to the PT and OT occupational therapists, we want to not forget about our speech and language pathologists, in which they will be continuing to embed themselves in the work of the contingency learning plans. Some might look like teletherapy. We're giving flexibility to our therapists and our pathologists to be able to make the decision that's best for the student, given your input as well. So you'll be learning more about that as the lesson plans and weekly expectations or to-do list would be disseminated through those case managers and service providers.
So if my child has 6 teachers in a day, will they have access during the week to all of those teachers?
Yes, most definite. Our teachers at the secondary and at the elementary levels will be posting virtual office hours. And during that time, that would provide availability for students and or parents to connect with the teacher if they wanted to do it through video conferencing, through chat, or even through email. So those hours will be posted on a daily basis and made available from Monday through Friday.
So within special education, your child might have a few different service providers. And instead of multiple weekly calls from different service providers, we're encouraging our staff to collaborate on a time that works, or on a platform that works best for the family, to be able to send and receive any communication regarding that weekly touch base with the parents and guardians, so you're not receiving a bulk of phone calls from a ton of teachers. We really want to make this easy for families.
As Dr. Burgad said, we're working on those schedules right now, what those office hours look like. We have asked staff at the elementary level to think more broadly about beyond a typical school day, just because we know in your homes right now it's probably not a typical work day for you. So we are asking them to split those hours up sometime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. so we're reasonable for the teachers as well as for you to be able to reach them. And they will be in chunked office hours. So you'll see from maybe your classroom teacher that they would be available from 11 to 12 and then again from 5 to 6 p.m. because that works for their family schedule, and it also might give you that flexibility to be able to contact them. But we will adjust those as needed, and we're not sure what's happening in your homes right now. So as we roll this out, we will continue to hear from you and what's working, and we know teachers will adjust the best that they can.
So before we close, we've talked to a lot to parents about what to expect. What do you want to say to our students who might be watching?
It's really hard to watch Facebook at night to see the teachers that are making all the posts and reading all the books and showing their windows full of hearts, and they truly miss our students. A lot of teachers were up cleaning out their classrooms, and you just hear them say they didn't get to say goodbye. But I think it's important that we're not saying goodbye. We're just changing our platform right now. We have to make everybody's healthy and safe first, and then we'll continue the learning, and Whether we come back in May or we come back in September, whatever that looks like, you will be met with a smiling face that's definitely missed our kids.
Our teachers miss you. They're just interacting with you and look forward to next week where they get to see you.
For the secondary students, we like to say we miss you. We do, we truly miss you. We are gonna be with you. We are sincerely thinking also our seniors and some of the opportunities that our students are missing out on. We think about those every day, and we're gonna do the best we can possibly can to make these next 2 months memorable for you, but we truly miss you.
Anything else that I maybe didn't ask or something you want our families to know? If they have questions, can they call the school?
Yes, they can call the school. We are working right now with our tech department, who is, as you can imagine, stepped up and taken on a pretty amazing feat, that we are working to make sure those phones are answered, and if you don't get a live person the first time, you'll be able to leave a message and know that we will get back to you.
And we also have our website, which we're updating daily under families. I think it's pretty easy to navigate, to find lots of information. So we will close and thank everybody for their time today. And I'm looking forward to seeing our students on Monday or Tuesday.
Wednesday.
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 April 1st.